much on my mind, just trying to catch a vibe. Thinking about my people, it seems they all blind. They thinking they know the truth, but no, not of the 12 tribe. Some say we a nation that's built up on tribulation. Some say we was taken and put in this situation. I say honestly, man, it's a little bit of both. Just take it from a nigga who parents native and Haitian. White folks stole my people's land, but we gon' take it back, cause the Most High put the power in our hands. Yeah, we going straight reprimand, cause the people did us dirty and never got punished. From here to France, they out here preaching peace, but to us ain't none given. Convince us to protest, but disregard how we living. Well, soon y'all gon' know how we feeling. Yeah, Hosea is coming back to prove to you that you ain't been forgiven. I'ma break it to you now that with this joint ain't no hook. The aristocrats on the mic pushing them words like a book. I'm anointed and I'm a saint and I got these niggas shook. I'm a Danite prince of the power and I can't be forsook. I think it's unfortunate that y'all couldn't face the facts. You so confused, you can't seem to break down Romans and Acts. When I teach, y'all got me losing all of my patience. Hear the word Israelite and then it turns to Galatians. Honestly, y'all need to do some investigating. My people acknowledge but still fighting for education. Broke them shackles off of my mind and set me free. Now, Father, y'all got me thinking immortal relation. Try and wake y'all up, but you suckers being complacent. Shot that nigga in the street, but how you grew up's adjacent. Take a nigga life for a little bit of wealth just to spend that shit and move back into your mama basement. Now you become a Muslim so that your life don't get taken. Boy, assalamu alaikum, bean pies, green eggs and bacon. Allah just a title, not the name of the Most High. You an Israelite, soon to be seeing revelation. Hey, now they saying the prince is lyrical. I'm ruling this thing, but it ain't nothing empirical. Yahweh shot sent the comforter, got me feeling spiritual. Yasha Allah on the rise, I ain't even hit the pinnacle. Hey, y'all know ain't too many better than I start watching on this mic, I even got a letterman. Skills concrete solid, I ain't talking settlement. Reppin' the Anointed House, man, you know we killing it. Hey, this time around, y'all better get a ticket. This young get hit a bomb like the 96 Olympics. Mess with the men of the Lord, might end up in the clinic. We taking the kingdom soon, 1 hour, 0 minutes.
Ron, coming to you with Friday Focus, Friday Night Focus. Got the brother Yaniv right here.
Shalom.
On all praise, man. So we're gonna make this a short and sweet lesson, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. Hey, I want to salute the 12 tribes scattered abroad. We'll do a quick introduction. The brothers and sisters that we have, we only have 2 people in the room right now. So Azariah Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Leah Bat Yah, Shalom, Shalom, sister. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the lesson was titled The War of God versus Satan, right? And this is really just a prophecy. The last time I did a lesson, we did a lesson on the dark sayings, right? And the parables that are in the scriptures, right? So in order to understand prophecy, you have to go to the Old Testament. Right. In order to understand prophecy that's in Revelations, which we're going to go through today, Revelations chapter 12, you have to understand prophecy. You have to. Right. So upon precept, you're going to get understanding line upon line, here a little, there a little. Right. So let's do that tonight. Right. Through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. Let's start off with Revelations chapter 12. We're going to start at verse 1.
Starting off for Revelation 12 from the top. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet.
Right.
And upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Mm-hmm. All right, stop right there, right? So right here we have to, this is how we break down scripture, right? Here a little and there a little, right? So we're going to start from the top and we're going to get an understanding of what John is seeing right here in Revelation chapter 12, all right? So read that again, Khan.
This is Revelations 12 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven.
Right. This is a sign that John is seeing. That's the wonder. That's the sign in heaven. So what is he seeing?
A woman clothed with the sun.
A woman clothed with the sun. Now, who is this woman, right? Let's get that in Daniel chapter 12 and verse 3. And Israel, if I'm moving too fast, Salakia, we're trying to get through this whole entire chapter real quick. So if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat, Baba Cashapp. Let me know when you got it out.
I got it, one.
And if any other soldiers is watching right now, y'all can hop on and help read. Come on, I'll drop the link in the chat. Just let me know. Go ahead. Start reading. You got it.
Con. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
Con. Salakia, that's the wrong precept. I wanted Salakia. So let's stay right there. We're gonna go back to that. I know what I want though, but give me 1 second while I get that in Jeremiah. Daniel chapter 12, verse 3. Read that again, Baba Cashapp.
Con, the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
Right, and that's talking about the sun. That's where we get the understanding of what it's talking about as far as the sun and the moon, right? Let's get Genesis chapter 37 and verse 9.
Con.
And get Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. If you can, Baba Cashapp.
So
I'm dropping the link in the chat for other brothers if they want to hop on and read. If any brother can hop on and read, Baba Cashapp.
Okay. Genesis 37 and what?
Start at verse 9.
Con. Book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said,
This is Joseph speaking right here, right? Keep going.
Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars
and the what?
Read that again to me.
You chalked up just a little bit. Read that again.
Okay. All right. Behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars.
And the 11 stars. Why is he saying 11, right? Why is he saying 11 stars? Because there are 12 sons of Jacob, right? He is the 12th. He's talking about his brothers. So the stars that it's talking about, when we're gonna get to that part too as well, the stars that it's talking about right there is the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 stars are the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Keep reading on that.
And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he told it to his father.
Right. So these are his brothers submitting to Joseph, because remember, Joseph was raised up in Egypt, right? Mm-hmm. After his brother sold him into slavery, he was raised up into Egypt, and he became second in command under Pharaoh, right? So with that being said, his brothers did come into servitude to him. So this is prophecy that he was given to his father at that time. So let's go back to Revelation chapter 12, and let's read it again.
Okay.
And then we'll go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2.
Con. The book of Revelation. You said Jeremiah 6 and 2?
Con. The book of Revelations chapter 12 from the top. We're going to read that again and then hop to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. So we're going to do a lot of hopping around. So.
Con. All right. This is the book of Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet.
Under her feet.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading.
And upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
So let's break this down once again. Who is the woman that it's talking about? This is going to be Israel. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2 to get that understanding. And then we'll get the understanding of the sun, the moon under her feet.
All right. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
So he has likened Israel to a comely and delicate woman. This is how the Most High speaks. He speaks his wisdom being a woman as well.
Right.
You understand that? So let's get Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23. To get the understanding of the sun and the moon under her feet, under Israel's feet.
All right, I got that when you're ready.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
All right, the book of Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
And the law is light. Keep reading.
And reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Right. And what does it say in Psalms? The law is a lamp, right? A lamp and a light unto my feet, right? Let's go get Genesis chapter 1 and verse 16 real quick.
All right.
Genesis chapter 1 and start at verse 16.
All right. Genesis chapter 1, verse 16. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and a lesser light to rule the night. He made the
So he made
stars
a
also.
read that again. Read that slow.
All right, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis 1 and 16. And God made two great lights,
Two great lights. Read that.
the greater light to rule the day,
The sun,
and the lesser light to rule the night.
the moon.
He made the stars also.
He made the stars also. Keep going.
And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth.
So wisdom, right, is also a light. The commandments is also a light, right? So getting that understanding of what wisdom is, what the light is, the law is light. It's instruction, it's guidance. Because you can't see at nighttime without the firmament, without the moon in the firmament or the stars in the firmament. If it's pitch black, you got to have some type of light. And the same thing with the daytime. You got the law being a light, a lamp, giving you vision of where you're going, right? Let's go to verse 2.
In Genesis or Revelations.
Hey, shalom, shalom to the brother Boaz coming in the room. Shalom to War Without End coming into the room. Sister Thw. Shalom, sister. Let's keep going.
Did you want that in Genesis or Revelation?
Oh, Salakia, Revelations chapter 12 and verse 2. Salakia.
Got you. Okay. Book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered.
Right, so this is Israel, right? And why is this happening? Let's get Micah chapter 4 and verse 9. Why is Israel laboring in birth and pain to be delivered? Let's read that.
Okay, you said Micah.
Micah chapter 4 and verse let's start at verse 9.
All right. This is the book of Micah, chapter 4 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why dost thou cry out aloud? Is there no king in thee?
Mm-hmm.
Is thy counselor perished?
Mm-hmm.
For pains have taken thee as a woman in travail.
Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
Be in pain, in labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion,
Mm-hmm.
like a woman in travail.
Like a woman in travail.
For now shalt thou go forth out of the city,
Mm-hmm.
and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon.
Into Babylon. That's crazy, right? Keep reading.
There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies.
This is crazy because where are we right now? So-called spiritual Babylon. Babylon the Great, right? Not the Babylon of Nebuchadnezzar, but a new Babylon, a new age, a new era. So America says, right? That's who we are today. So that's that laboring in birth and in travail, like we're struggling, right? What's that scripture? Salaki, because I'm about to go on a tangent right now. But there's a scripture that talks about we mourn as doves, right? And we're sore, right? And we scream, we scream like bear, we roar like bears, right? I'm gonna find that scripture because I want to say it's in Salaki. I'm gonna find it. But let's go down to verse 3 while I find that scripture real quick.
All right. Book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, a great red dragon.
A great red dragon. Who is that great red dragon? Who is that great red dragon? We're going to find out, right? Keep reading.
Mm-hmm. Having 7 heads and 10 horns,
mm-hmm.
and 7 crowns upon his heads.
Now, this is a very deep breakdown, right? This is not no milk. Brothers and sisters want prophecy. We will give y'all prophecy. But the thing is, you have to have the milk, right? You got to go back to the basics. The scripture that I was talking about was Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 11. I'm going to read that real quick.
All right.
So let's break down the red dragon. I want you to go to Genesis chapter 25 real quick. Let's go into that prophecy. And let me get this scripture real quick.
All right, come.
59 and verse 11. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 11. We roar all like bears, and we mourn sore like doves. We look for judgment, but there is none. For salvation, but it is far off from us. Because think about it, man. When we go out there and we protest, what are we doing? Right? When your brother or your sister gets killed in the street, what are you doing? You go out there and you protesting, right? You go out there marching, holding up your signs. What they doing for ICE right now, right? But there is no justice, right? There is no salvation that's coming for us. Nobody's coming to save us, right? Nobody's coming to save those Hispanics out there that's getting snatched up out their cars and snatched up out their jobs, right? So that's that pain and that laboring, right, that we're seeing right now in Babylon. Now let's get Genesis chapter 25 and read through that.
Okay, from the top.
No. Verse start at verse 21.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Right. What did she conceive? Keep reading.
And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Right. So she went to inquire of the Lord. Now, did she actually speak to the Most High? We talked about this in the last class that I taught about the parables of dark sayings. No, she actually went to a seer. She went to somebody who could break down what was going on with her, right? A prophet. That's who she went through. Because you don't talk to the Most High God, right? You don't deal with the Most High God unless she die, right? Keep reading.
Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Right. Because that's prophecy. That's us over Israel. I mean, Israel over Esau. Keep reading.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. Because the roles are going to reverse. Keep reading.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right. Not identical.
Right.
Yep. Keep reading.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
What was he again?
Esau.
What color was
red? He? Red like a hairy garment.
Red like a hairy garment, right?
Yeah,
Now let's go to Job chapter 30 and verse 29. Let's get an understanding of why Esau is called a dragon. It's like I keep going to the wrong book. Job chapter 30 and verse 29.
All right.
And this is one of my favorite. Matter of fact, we're going to go up. We're going to go up in that. Hold on real quick. Where I want to start at. Let's go to Job chapter 30 and let's start at verse 5.
The book of Job chapter 30 and verse 5. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
Just like cavemen, right? That's what Esau is, bro. You watch the Geico commercials when they talk about like it's so easy a caveman can do it.
Right.
That's Esau, man. He's a damn caveman from the Caucasus Mountains. Keep reading.
Among the bushes they berate under the nettles.
The nettles,
They were gathered together.
Right. This is like bushes. So listen. So or like shrubs. So when you hear, if you ever heard a donkey's beret, right? When it says beret, that's just like a donkey's scream, right? Or a donkey's yell, right? They like if you hear a donkey, if you ever heard a donkey try to listen, it sounds like a man crying. Like I wish I could pull the video up, but if you just look at a donkey brain on YouTube, you'll see them and they sound like men. And that's how they communicated. Right? That's just how dumb they were. Really, they are. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like facts. But let's keep going. Let's go to verse 29. Let's skip down to verse 29.
All right, This is Job 30 and verse 29.
Uh-huh.
I am a brother to dragons.
Now, see, Esau is the brother of Jacob. So that is our brother. Esau is our brother, right? Keep reading.
And a companion to owls.
And the companion to owls. So we are the brother of that dragon, that great dragon. And remember, the birthright was given to us. He gave that birthright to us, but he is sore displeased at his decision.
Right.
So of course he's going to pursue us with the sword, just as it was prophesied in Genesis. And that's all they're doing right now. Prophecy has to be fulfilled. If the Most High said it, it has to be done. Right? Did Esau kill Jacob? No, he didn't. But spiritually, right now, through his lineage, yes, they are killing us. They are oppressing us right now to this day. Let's keep going in verse back to Revelation chapter 12. And let's go to verse 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared another one. And there appeared another wonder in heaven.
Another sign, right? Keep going.
And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
Now the 7 heads, right, are going into the rulerships of, when you think about Esau, right? Because I was looking this up today, right? When you think about Esau, and you think about all the dynasties that they've had, even from the Greco-Roman Empire till now, when they brought us over here to the Americans during the Atlantic slave trade, who had a hand or played a major part in the captivity during the Atlantic slave trade? And when you think about even the origins of the languages, like Latin is literally like the father of what Spanish, right? Or even when you look at the French language, the same thing with the Greco-Roman, the Greek language, right? Some of the words that are in Greek, we still use the same word in English, right? Let's get Salakia. Let's just break down anybody in the chat, Salakia. Anybody in the chat know the 7 heads? What the 7 heads represent? I'm pretty sure brothers already know this. This is in Daniel, but let's go ahead and see if any brothers know that real quick. Anybody can hop in on that. And then the 10 horns, if anybody knows that, they can throw that in the chat as well. Just think about the 7 major empires that had a hand in the Atlantic slave trade. Just think about that. I'll give you a hint. We've been talking about one this whole entire time. These are kingdoms, nations, same thing. Because when it talks about the 7, the crowns is talking about kingdoms, it's powers. Deron Beckford said Israel, La'ah. Because the people that are in Israel are not Israel, they're not Israelites, they're Israelite. Right? They Jewish, they're not Jews. Canaanites, negative, right? Let's get that real quick. The major empires, right? Take notes on this. The major empires, especially when you're talking about Esau, right? You have Greece being one, the Greco-Roman Empire. So Greece and Rome, right? That's going to be one. Then you have Spain, right? The Spaniards, Christopher Columbus or Christos Columbus, right? When they brought him over here to the Americas, right? Moab, La'ah, be like ants, Salakia. Germany is another one, right? Sisters on point. There we go, Leah. Russia is another. Great Britain, of course. And what did I say? Did I say France already? France is the last one. I guess that's 7, right? So you got Greece, Rome, Germany, not Germany, Slovakia. Germany, France, Spain, and who else would we say? Great Britain, right? Is that 7? Or am I missing somebody?
No, I think you got them.
Con. So that's the 7 kingdoms that it's talking about, or the 7 representations of the 7 heads that it's talking about in verse 3. Now 10 is a little bit more complex because that's the 10 common markets, right? Some people say NATO, but NATO still has the 10 common markets within it, but NATO has a lot more people that are joined, so like that are within them now anyway. But or the EU is another way of saying it, the EU, right? The European Union. Now let's go ahead and get that. It's a long list because it's like Belgium is in there, Slovakia, because I don't remember off the top of my dome. So bear with me. And spell it the best way you can. Slovakia, spell it the best way you can. Right? Belgium. And we're going back to the seven kingdoms too, because you got a lot of them within it. France is one of them. You have Germany. You also have Italy. You have Luxembourg. That's Luxem, as in Mary, and then Berg, Bourg. Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Denmark, Ireland, England, and then Greece. Right? So those are going to be the 10 common markets are what they would say, and also NATO, the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization, but they're not, I wouldn't say, I mean, NATO, of course, is within there, but there are more people a part of NATO, right? So you just can't say NATO themselves, right? But these are the seven heads of the empires of Esau. And all these other organizations, the European unions are also going to be Esau. That's the buildup of that dragon, right? Let's keep going to verse 4. Let's skip down to verse 4 now.
All right. Revelation 12:4.
Con.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth.
And did cast them to the earth, right? Because it's coming, the tail is represent power. So it drew the third part. The third part is going to be Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. And then a small remnant of the northern kingdom, right? Because when you talk about a third part, there's 12 tribes. Let's do the math, right? So it's got to be 4. So Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, those are the Jews, and a small remnant of the northern kingdom. Because we know that the woman at the well, people say Cornelius was northern kingdom. So you have a few northern kingdom people that were in that captivity with us as well in the Greco-Roman Empire, right? Let's keep going.
God. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered.
Which was ready to be delivered. Keep going.
For to devour her child as soon as it was born.
So who is this talking about? Who is that child? This is Yahushua. This is Christ, right? Let's get that in Matthew chapter 2. And let's start at verse 16.
This is Book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 16.
So like it, let's start at verse 13, then we'll skip down to 16.
Matthew chapter 2 and verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Right, because they're going to try to kill the child, right? To devour the child. That's what it's talking about. Let's read verse 16 so we can understand who it's talking about.
Verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem.
Because this is where Yahushua was born. This is where Christ was born. Let's keep going.
And in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
Because they were trying to find out where he was trying to find out where Yahushua was, right? And of course, he never captured Yahushua. He never killed him, right? And matter of fact, to get an understanding of, because you get an argument of Esau being the so-called white man. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard, right? There's nobody else he could be other than the so-called white man. But the dragon, to prove who the dragon is, we're gonna go to the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna go to Harad real quick. Give me 1 second. So,
Salaki Adawan. And what's crazy is Esau claimed to be everybody except for Esau.
right, that's crazy, and that's sad, man. That's sad. They claim to be us. It's like a damn identity crisis out here.
Right.
But the first thing it says, right, when you see Harad in the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, I don't know if y'all can see it, right? It's probably hard to see, but it says Idumean rulers of Palestine. Line started with Antipater, whom Julius Caesar made procurator of Judea in 47 BC. Now, what's crazy is if you look up Antipater, his name is Antipater the Idumean. What does Idumea mean? It's just another wording or a byword of Edom.
Mm-hmm.
The Idumeans are the Edomites. That's why it's like even the pronunciation just one and the same. Idumean, Edom, right? That's all that they. So again, it's telling you who they are. Harad was an Edomite. Was he Israelite because he had power over Judea? No, he was not. He was Idumean because they gave, just like they have rulership over there in South America. South Africa. Are they Africans? No, they not. They ain't black, Hamitic looking people, but they have rulership over that land.
Mm-hmm.
West shores of Africa, really all of Africa, is owned or was conquered by the so-called Idumeans, and they have power over that entire landmass, just like they have power over the South Americas, the Central Americas, and the North Americas, which they conquered the so-called Native Americans, right? Now let's keep going, man. Let's go to verse 5.
Okay. Revelations chapter 12 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
Rule all nations with a rod of iron. Keep going.
And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
And to his throne. Let's get that in Acts chapter 1 and start at verse 9.
The book of Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Mm-hmm.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel.
These are the angels. Keep going.
Which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven?
Because they ain't never seen a nigga in the sky before. Ain't never seen a niggas fly in the sky. Like, think about it, man. You see a brother standing there right before your face, and then he just taking up into the sky.
Yeah, that's
You
wild.
ain't never seen nothing like that before in your life. Like, why you looking so crazy? Like, why y'all looking like that?
Right.
But they ain't never seen that before. Right? We ain't seen it before. Let's keep going.
This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven,
Mm-hmm.
shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
The same way you seen him go is the same way he gonna come back, though. Right?
That's gonna be wild.
That's cold, right?
Yeah.
Let's get one more precept real quick. Let's get Luke chapter 21 and let's start at verse 20. So we see the child being caught up, right? And then we got one more I want to get after that.
All right.
We're gonna try and fly through this.
Cool. All right. This is Luke chapter 21 and verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies,
mm-hmm.
then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Because that had to happen. That was a prophecy that Yahweh Shah was given at that point, right? 70 AD. Keep going.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains,
Uh-huh.
and let them which are in the midst of it depart out,
Right.
and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For
Right. And
these, Salaki, my
keep
bad.
going.
For these be the days of vengeance.
Right. And
That-
Salakia, I jumped the
Mhm.
gun on that. That's verse 6. We on verse 5. Salakia, I jumped the gun on that. But
Okay.
that's going into verse 6. But keep reading though, so we don't have to go there.
All right, Salaki.
You have verse 21. Keep reading.
Okay, I'm gonna start from the top.
Okay,
Uh,
come.
then let them which are in Judea
Mm-hmm.
flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out,
Mm-hmm.
and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Right.
For these be the days of vengeance,
These be the days of vengeance, right?
that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Right, because that time it had that prophecy had to be fulfilled. The temple had to be destroyed, right? Israel had to be scattered, right, to the
Mhm.
four corners of the earth, right? Because we didn't just go from Israel or the Greco-Roman Empire and flee from that area and just start going to the west shores of Africa. Like we migrated to other places in Europe as well, right?
Mhm.
We had to be scattered all over. But let's go get Mark chapter 2 and verse 13. No,
Con.
so Mark chapter 6 and verse 9. And I still said it wrong. It's Mark chapter 16 and verse 9. My
Gotcha.
dyscalculia kicking in, man. I'm horrible with saying numbers.
We gonna get it.
Mark chapter 16 and then start at verse 9.
All right, gotcha. This is Mark chapter 16 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Now, when Jesus was risen early the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils.
Mm-hmm.
And she went and told them that had been with him, as they murmured.
Salakia, verse 19. Skip to verse 19.
Okay,
Salakia. Let's skip to verse 19. Salakia.
all right. Mark 16, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
So then, after the Lord had spoken unto them,
Mm-hmm.
he was received up into heaven
He was received up into heaven, right?
and sat on the right hand of God.
And said where?
On the right hand of God.
So he's sitting on the right hand of the Most High God, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is his throne. That's where he and his throne will be here on earth, reigning over us, right? Being our king, right? But let's go to verse 6. Let's skip down to verse 6.
Okay. This is Revelations 12 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had place prepared of God,
That's Luke 21 and 20. We just read that.
where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Right. So the west shores of Africa. So number one, we're gonna do some math here today. I hope brothers is good with math, right?
All right.
Because I'm decent with some math, man. But I that dyscalculia gonna kick in. I'm horrible with numbers, right? But the calculation here, right? Number one, they're fleeing into the wilderness. The wilderness is gonna be like capped to the struggle, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
pain. Nobody wants to be in the wilderness, right? Nobody wants to be there. The place prepared for us is this place, Babylon the Great. There they shall feed her there 1,260 days. That's
Mm-hmm.
1,260 days.
Con.
When you go to when you look at the calculations, it's just 360 days in a year. So if you do the math of 1,260 divided by 360, you should get matter of fact, let me get my calculator so brothers don't think I'm lying.
Yeah, about 3 years.
You get lucky. You get 3.5, 3.5. So that's going
Okay.
to be 3.5 years or 350 years, right? According to our prophecy, how our prophecy goes, right? Because it's never just 3.5 days, 3.5 years. No, it's 350 years, according to how prophecy goes, right? Let's keep going on that. Let's keep reading.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And there was war in heaven. Michael.
Salakia. One more precept. Let's get Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Salakia,
Okay.
let's get that. Still staying on verse 6.
Okay. The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Mm-hmm. On a numeral amount. Keep going.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto
right.
them.
So where she has placed prepared of God. Keep reading.
Mm-hmm. Ye are not my people. There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Because over here in America right now, we call niggas.
Yeah.
Right? We call spics. We call African American, right? Negro. But we're not called Israelites. But what do we know now? What are brothers and sisters finding out now? Their true nationality. They find that their true heritage right now over here in America, the place that was prepared for us, right? That's what you're getting in Hosea. That's the prophecy that's talking about Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10, where it said we are not the people. Somebody else is the people, right? Taking on our identity. Now we're actually discovering who we are. And we're going to find out how and why we're finding out our true nationality on later down in the chapter. Let's go to verse 7.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought in his angels.
So this is the war that you got versus God versus Satan. So
right.
you got the archangel Michael, right?
Mm-hmm.
Micah Allah fighting against Satan and his angels. Like that's Greek mythology, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
why you got Yahushua being the Father as well. There's three in the whole Trinity. That's Greek mythology, right? That's pseudepigrapha. That's a false. That's like a false equivalency. Like the Most High is how you gonna be the Most High God, the greatest power, the all-knowing, omnipotent, but you fighting. You got to fight somebody. Think about it. We don't even get to see the Most High.
Right.
Even Moses saw the back of it. So just think about like on Thundercats. You ever seen Thundercats? So you got the boss and you just see the back. Right? That's all you see is the back of it. You don't never get to see the Most High. Right? That's above our pay grade, right? The earth is a footstool. We don't even get to be in that realm that he's in, right? So this is talking about the war when Yahushua returns, right? Mm-hmm. Angels will be fighting in the heavens, in the firmament. That's the heavens, right? Because you have different heavens. It's 4 different heavens. You got like power, heavenly power. You got the paradise heaven. You got the firmament heaven, right? You got a condition heaven. Man, it feels like heaven up in here, man. Mm-hmm. This place looks like heaven. That's a condition, right? So you have 4 different types of heaven, right? And just for time's sake, we're not going to go through that, but you have precepts to prove that, right? You have precepts to prove the 4 heavens, right? But there was a war in the firmament. Michael, the archangel, right? Which we can get that in Jude chapter 1 and verse 9, right? That's in Jude chapter 1 and verse 9. I'll get that real quick for time's sake.
All right.
Right? Let's get that. Jude chapter 1 and verse number 9. All right, verse number 9. It says, yet Michael, the archangel, right? This is just meaning like a prince or a leader. He's like the leader of the angels, one of the 4 leaders of the angels. Yet Michael and the archangel went contending with the devil. He disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord rebuked thee. So the angel Michael is an archangel. So he's one of the leaders, or what you would say as a general or a captain of the angels, right? And he's going to be leading on the war against Esau, against the great red dragon, right? The Idumeans. Let's go ahead and keep reading.
Back in Revelations.
Revelation chapter 7.
Gotcha.
No,
Revelation
verse 8. Let's go to verse 8. I think we already read that, right?
Yeah, we read 7.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 8.
We almost there, Israel.
And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Right? So meaning that they're not going to come back into that rulership no more. There's no more room for them to rule anymore. That's Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18, and then Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44, right? So let's get that for time's sake. I'll grab it real quick. Let's get that for time's sake.
All right.
Daniel 7:18, that's our motto. Y'all should know that. But let's get Daniel chapter 2, and I'm going to read verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. So that's meaning that, again, there was no place found for them anymore, right? There's no place for any other kingdoms to rise up against Israel when we come into power. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. That's Israel's kingdom, right? Under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We will never be confounded. We will never be destroyed. We will never be condemned or defeated. Like, nobody will be able to rise up against us. Just think about the Marvels movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about Thanos teaming up with the Avengers, man, and DC, because I like DC better. But think about all them come Superman, all them coming and teaming up together on one team. Nobody can defeat them, right? Let's keep reading in verse 8. Verse 9, Salakia.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And the great dragon was cast out,
Uh-huh.
that old serpent.
That old serpent, Genesis chapter 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Called the devil.
Called the devil.
And Satan.
And Satan.
Which deceived the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
He was cast out into the earth.
Uh-huh.
And his angels were cast out with him.
And his angels were cast out with him. So all the followers at that time will be cast out right along with him, right? Though the hand join in hand, the wicked will not go unpunished. Let's go ahead and read that in John. Let's get John chapter 12 and verse 31. Baba Cashapp.
All right.
Let's read that real quick.
I got you.
We almost there, Israel. Bear with me.
The book of John, chapter 12, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out.
Mm-hmm.
And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me.
Mm-hmm.
This he says, signifying what death he should die.
Right. So this right here, verse 32, and I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. Now, the verse 31, now shall the prince of this world be cast out. Who is the prince of this world? Who is that, Israel? Anybody? Who is the prince of this world right now? This is his playground. He's running the show.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody got any precepts, throw them in the chat, and you could just say it right out the top. I know we're moving quick. Just bear with me. Anybody? Satan. There we go. Esau, Khan, right? The devil. Satan. He's the prince of this world, right? Spiritually, Satan, right? Now let's keep going in Revelations chapter 12, and let's go to verse number 10.
Revelations 12 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength,
right?
in the kingdom of our God.
The kingdom of our God. Keep going.
In the power of his Christ. For the
Mashiach.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night.
Because they do it right now, man. Because look at Emmett Till, right? Accused him of whistling at a white woman, right? Every time you walk into the store, they accuse you of stealing something. They accuse you of committing crimes that you ain't never commit.
Facts.
That's the accuser right there. Who does that? Who is that accuser? That should be simple, right? It's just like that was easy. Like like that's simple, man. That's Esau Edom, man. That's our accuser, right?
All day.
Let me get Obadiah chapter 1 and start at verse 21. Baba Cashapp.
The book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
In Salakia. What is that?
Saviors. Yep.
Saviors, kind, the water. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion
Mm-hmm.
to judge the mount of Esau.
To judge the mount of Esau. All praise to the Most High. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. And the kingdom shall be the Lord's.
And it should be whose?
The Lord's.
The Lord's. That's the Most High God, man. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. Right? That's the king and the kingdom of our God and the power of the power of his Messiah, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, right? So let's go to verse 11.
All right. It's Revelations 12, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
By the blood of the Lamb. All praise to the Most High. Keep going.
And by the word of their testimony.
Mm-hmm.
And they loved not their lives unto the death.
Read that again. Read that from the top again. 1 second.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
Now the crazy thing is, people say they saved by the blood of Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm covered in the blood of Christ, but like if I remember correctly, Herod, Pilate washed his hands of the blood, right? He was like, "Hey, man, his blood be on y'all. Like hey, this is not on me. Like I am innocent of this just man. Like hey, my hands is washed. I wash my hands of this." And the Jews said, we said, his blood be on us and our children.
Right.
If I remember correctly, y'all washed the blood of Christ up off y'all, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 16 and verse 25. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 25.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
And they love not their lives unto death. Because we have to kill off the old man. So we got to make ourselves a living sacrifice, number one. But then also a testimony. Let's get that precept for a testimony. Let's go to Hebrews chapter. Matter of fact, what is a testimony? Anybody know that? Anybody know what the testament is? You got the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's not the Old Covenant. It's not the covenant, right? The Old Testament and the New Testament. Give me Psalms chapter 132, and then we're going to get Hebrews next.
All right.
Psalms chapter 132 and verse 11.
The book of Psalms, chapter 132, verse 11. The Lord had sworn in truth unto David,
Mm-hmm.
and will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne.
The fruit of thy body. Who came through the body of David? Christ. Who's sitting on the throne? Christ. Who is the father of Christ? Joseph. Because he comes through David's lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Leave that alone. That Immaculate Conception, man. Keep going. Verse 12.
Verse 12. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony,
And my testimony, keep going.
That I shall teach them,
mm-hmm.
Their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore.
Mm-hmm. Forevermore, right? Let's get Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 16.
All right. The book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
For where a testament is, there must also a necessity be the death of the testator.
Testator. There you go. Keep going.
All right. For a testament is of force after men are dead.
After men are what?
Are dead.
Are what?
Are dead.
You gotta be so. This is what's crazy because you're telling people in the Christian church talking about their testimonies, man.
Right.
But what? Hey, what if the next morning your ass wake up and now you in Islam?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? What does that testimony mean? It means nothing. It means nothing until death, right? Because that person died being a believer. You can wake up one morning and be a non-believer. Hey, shalom to the brother Yaquab, Soldier Yaquab, shalom.
Shalom.
You can wake up and be a non-believer, right? You can wake up cursing the Most High God.
Mm-hmm.
So what does your testament mean? It means nothing until death, right? Because that person died being a believer. That person died living. That person died being a living sacrifice, right? Every day testifying and trying their best to keep the commandments and keeping the covenant, right? So that's what makes a testimony a testament. After death, there is life after death, but you only have that life through Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right.
By doing what? By keeping the commandments and having faith in Christ, having faith in Him. Let's keep reading in verse 12, Revelations 12 and 12.
Okay. Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens,
Mm-hmm.
and ye that dwell in them.
Mm-hmm.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea.
Because that's them, man. Keep going.
Right. For the devil is come down unto you,
Mm-hmm.
having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Hey, rejoice ye, O heavens, right? Let's get that in Lamentations 4 and 21. Lamentations 4 and 21. Let's get that real quick.
All right. The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom,
Mm-hmm.
that dwellest in the land of Uz.
Mm-hmm.
The cup also shall pass through unto thee.
Right.
Thou shalt be drunken, and shall make thyself naked.
Because they're going to be ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later, their time is coming, right? So this is why the Most High is saying, hey, rejoice, live it up, right? That's why the oppressing is more and more. That's why Jacob's trouble is going to come. During those times, they got to oppress us more and more because their time is coming up. Their time is running out, right?
For sure.
It's just like, man, it's 30 seconds left on the clock and you getting blown out. Hey, man, we're going to start. It's going to be some flagrant fouls coming, man. We're going to start throwing some Ron Artest elbows. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. I'm ready.
Yeah, you going to, hey, man, you're going to be like Draymond Green putting brothers in chokeholds and stuff, man. Like, that's how it is. Because they got a short time, man. They know their time is coming. Hey, their time is almost up, right? Let's go to verse 13.
Revelations 12 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
And when the dragon saw that it was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child.
That's Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Okay. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle.
That great eagle. Now, this is symbolic, right? Greco-Roman. All right, you look on the coin. One side they got Caesar's face. On the other side they got an eagle. You look on the quarter. You got a coin. George Washington on one side, the eagle on the other. Dollar bill. The American, what is the American mascot? The damn eagle, right? I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but damn, like it's but that is America. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Let's get that real quick.
Oh yeah.
Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Salakia. Is it 28 that I want? Deuteronomy 28 and 28, where it talks about the eagle.
Swift.
Yeah. No, that's not what I want. I want verse 40. Let's see where it's at. Yeah, verse 49. Salaki, verse 49.
Okay.
It's
The book,
48 is what I'm thinking about, but we're gonna read that too. Let's get 49.
all right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from
Mm-hmm.
far,
Right,
from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
right.
A
Now let's go
nation.
back.
Okay.
Now let's go back to let's sit on that. Let's go back to verse 14. Let's keep reading.
All right. Revelation 12, verse 14. And to the woman were given two wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
into her place,
In her place in the Americas.
where she is nourished for
What?
a time
Mm-hmm.
and times
Mm-hmm.
and half a time
In half a time
from the face of the serpent.
from the face of the serpent. Now, what's going on here? Because really, as verse 6, he's just reiterating what he said again in verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and let's read verse 48 first, right? Because this is how we know, number one, Deuteronomy 28 and 49, we just read that, the eagle. But this is how we know that it's talking about the Americas. Because what are they doing to us right now? Everything that we get from them, we got to go to who? We got to go to them.
Right.
Anything we get in this land, I'm Salaki, anything we get in this land, we get from them. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore shall thou serve thine enemies,
Mm-hmm.
which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
And in one of all things, right, where she is nourished, this is what we're getting all out. And really, we ain't being nourished. We're being abused right now
For
with all the
real.
food, the nasty and defiled foods that we eat. But keep reading.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Because if you look up yoke of iron on somebody's neck right now, you're just gonna see us, right?
Right.
So-called blacks and Native Americans, man. That's all you're gonna see. You'll see no other nation of people.
Nobody else.
You see what I'm saying? Which is it's madness, man. This is how you know this book is real. These prophecies, man. You can't dispute that. But let's keep going. In verse 12, Salakia, 12 and 12. I mean 12 and 14, Salakia.
Okay. All right. We had 15 out of one. Oh, you want to go
No,
14
the time
again?
and time, Salakia. So the time, so
Oh,
14 the end, just read the end part.
kind. Where she is nourished for a time
A time, that's 1 year,
and times
2 years right there,
and half a time.
and half a time. So that's 3.5. 1 time and times 2. So 1, 2, 3, and half a time, which is the 0.5, right?
Mm,
From the face of the serpent, right? So that's that 3.5 or 350 years once again, right?
okay.
Let's go down to 15.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth
Mm-hmm.
water as a flood after the woman,
Now this is deep. Keep going.
that he might cause her to be carried away of a flood.
Now people are going to ask, and again, we know who the serpent is. Cast out of his mouth. What is his mouth? The media, right? Television, telling lies to your vision, right? Social media, right? Damn AI, movies. If you even look up Hollywood, Hollywood has, or the Pentagon, they have an office or a section in the Pentagon for Hollywood movies.
Mm,
So like all these different documentaries about the Bin Laden and these different missions America done went on, like they get to tell us anything. They get to write their own script. This is the Most High script. So you know that's gonna be fulfilled. You know this is gonna come to pass.
for
But
sure.
their scripts is lies. That's the flood, right? So the mouth is the media, right? They can tell you anything. Anytime you see the news, it's like repetitory. And they always post some constant coverage on it because they want you to be in tune with it, right? Same thing with music. That's a part of the media as well, right?
Hmm.
You got people like Cardi B and Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion, what they got going on. We focused on that, but we're not focused on this. We're not focused on the war that's going over there in Iran, right? between Iran and Israel. We're not focused on what's really going on around us. That's how we get carried away of the flood. We're getting carried away into those lies, right? They had something back in the Roman times called bread and circus, right? Where they would have the Colosseums, where they have wars. I mean, not the wars, but the gladiators there, which you see the Colosseums today, basketball and football in the same type of arenas, right? And then you got things like bread, right? What they'll give to us with the lottery, right? Casinos, right? Food stamps. They got something that they give to the people that keep us docile. Like, all right, we got something that's sufficient. We got a little bit of something, right? We ain't too broke, right?
Gift destroyed the heart.
Yeah, gift destroyed the heart, right? So you get them people a little bit, right? They'll be like, we satisfied. I give you some crumbs, you'll live. You know what I'm saying? You'll make you'll make ends meet. And then you got sports and music and other source of entertainment to keep our minds off of this right here, off of this word, right? Which is going to save us, which really gives us life, right? There's someone called Anton Mesmer, right? That's where you get the word mesmerize, right? I want to say I don't know if he's German. I know he's European, right? A so-called white man. But that's where you get the term mesmerize from, because music, he knew that music could be something to captivate people, and it changes your mood. When you listen, if you ever been driving in the car, you listen to the Migos, or you listen to some Gucci Mane, or you listen to NBA Young Man, or whoever y'all be listening to, right? When you whip in the car, you speeding down the road. But then when you put on some R&B, you put on the vibes, you got the vibes playlist or the chill playlist, you start trying to cruise the streets, because that music has you mesmerized. It has an influence on you. Same thing with alcohol, spirits, right? It puts something on you. This is our weapons are not carnal, right? Esau's weapons are not carnal, right? They playing chess, not checkers.
For
we
sure.
got the game messed up. We have to understand that our war is not physical, it's spiritual, right? So let's go back to verse number 16.
Okay.
Matter of fact, give me Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 25. Let's get that real quick. I knew there's something I wanted to get. Let's get Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 25 to get some understanding on that. Ephesians 4 and verse 25.
All right. This is Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 25. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor. For we are members one of another.
Salakia, that's not what I wanted. I wanted verse 15.
Salakia. All right.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if that's what I want.
Let me see.
Ephesians chapter 4. But that is still a good precept, though. But give me 1 second. Let me find it real quick. Salakia. I got my damn numbers mixed up, man. Give me... Give me Ephesians chapter 4 and verse... Salakia. Salakia. Drop that. I'll come back to it. It'll come to me. It'll come to me, Lord willing. It's going to come to me. Read verse 16.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 16. And the earth helped the woman.
And the earth helped the woman. We're going to find out what it's talking about, what that earth is that helped the woman. Keep going.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
And her seed. Salakia. We was at verse 16, right?
Yeah, kind.
Read verse 16 again from the top.
Kind.
So we can get into that earth, right?
Gotcha. And the earth helped the woman And the earth opened her mouth.
Uh-huh. Let's read Psalms chapter 85 and verse 11, right?
Gotcha. Psalms 85 and 11.
Psalms chapter 85 and verse 11. That's gonna eat me up, man. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart right now.
Yeah, it's gonna come to you.
No, for sure.
The book of Psalms, chapter 85 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Truth shall spring out of the earth.
What shall come out of the earth?
Truth shall spring out of the earth.
The truth. Keep reading.
Right. And righteousness shall look down from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Yea.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it on the 11.
All praise. So the earth is this truth. Because what comes, matter of fact, when you think about the earth, right? How did we even come about knowing who we are as a people? Right? Think about that. This is really deep. This is why these parables and these dark sayings, they are really deep, and you have to know precept upon precept to get that understanding. Mm-hmm. Like, how are we finding out? How are we waking up today through the truth, right? Through facts, that we are the Israelites of the Bible, that we are the people that this book is talking about. Even the Egyptians, knowing that the Egyptians are not the so-called white man. Even the Philistines or the Palestinians that are over there are converts again. I mean, not even converts, but they're imposters. They're not even the real Philistines, right? How are we finding this out? Anybody think about that, man? How are we finding these things out? Well, I'm still thinking about my precept. How are we finding these things out today? Anybody? Right? Go ahead and give me Psalms. Matter of fact, let's give me Psalms chapter 94. Salakia. Give me Psalms chapter 94 and verse 8.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 8.
Salakia 64 and verse 8. Boy, that dyscalculia. Boy, I be getting numbers all mixed up. Salakia. Right. Psalm 64 and verse 8. 64 and 8.
The book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
Mm-hmm.
All that see them shall flee away.
They make it. They just dropped in the chat, man, right here. Right? Esau's whistleblowing is his own destruction. Mm-hmm. They telling on themselves, right? But then archaeology, right? You got the lost lunar stone, right? You got the pyramids where you see the so-called black people on the walls who are the Israelites that were in the Egyptian captivity with the fringes on, and they got the beards on their face and they got the cornrows in their head. I ain't seen Esau with no cornrows in their head, but when you ever seen watch the movies, man, where they got the not the Prince of Egypt, but hell, even the Prince of Egypt, but also other movies where they have the so-called white men with the tans playing pharaohs. What they got? They got beads in their head, and the beads go back in their head looking like braids, but they're not. They don't have braids in their head. They have beads making it look like braids. Or they got those little wigs on their head. Why? Because they can't get cornrows like us. So it's impersonating us, right? That's all that they're doing. They're just It's crafty counsel. Man, we can't grow no cornrows like that. We can't make our hair look nappy like them. But you know, we can yeah, that's right. Sister Thw War said the 10 Commandments, facts. Right. They had some beads in their head, but those are supposed to be cornrows, not beads. But they made it that way to make it look just like what you see on the pyramids. That's crafty. That's why they knocked the noses off of them, right?
Right.
Even in Rome, right? Even the statues in Rome, because we had black people ruling during those times. They knocked the noses off them because they don't want you to see them wide noses that they have, right? Well, like, people don't think about that, but that's the earth. What is that stuff that's in the earth? Mm-hmm. Artifacts that comes from the earth. We're going into the earth, finding these artifacts, right? History, archaeology, that's going to be the earth that's helping the woman, that's helping the Israelites wake up into who we are today. Just like I said, that lost lunar stone, when they had the 10 commandments on there, how would we know that those were who are those people? That was here before Christos Columbus got here. That's before the Spaniards came over here. So that means that the Israelites were already here in this land. So who could that be? Let's get verse 17. We there, Israel. We at the end right now. We at the finish line.
Let's get it. Revelations chapter 12, verse 17.
Right.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Of Yahushua HaMashiach, right? So that's through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we got through this. Is just talking about the dragon once again being Esau, Edom, being angry with the Israelites, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, especially those that keep the commandments, right? Because we seeing that right now over there in Great Britain. You can't talk about the Bible, right? I think it's in some other countries over there in Europe where you can't go in the corner and preach or have the Bible, speak about the Bible publicly. That time is coming. So the people who try to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we will be persecuted, we will be put in prison, we will be locked up. They are going to make war against us. This is prophecy. But in order to understand prophecy, you got to go get the milk first. You got to go and understand precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, what these scriptures are saying. And the only way you can read Revelations is going to the Old Testament. You can't get no understanding of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John without going to the testimonies in the beginning. And have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. You only gonna get that them testimonies in the Old Testament. You got to go to the Old Testament first to get those prophecies of a Mashiach Yahushua. Or else he'd be a liar, right? Be a false prophet. But with that, man, Israel, I yield. If anybody got any questions, y'all want to throw them in the chat. Any other lessons y'all want, throw them in the chat for the next prophecy that I'll try and go into. I went through this pretty quickly. I know there's some precepts I didn't give, but I want to be quick and concise with it because I can get very long-winded, Israel, so salaki with that. But, hey, man, we kept this thing within an hour, man, so all praise to the Most High. I hope Israel was edified. Soldier Unique, you got anything out?
Khan Edwan, that was a beautiful breakdown, and y'all definitely have to go back and watch it again and write down these precepts, man, and get this understanding. That was a very powerful lesson, and it was needed for these times that we're going through.
Khan, all praise. And there's probably some things that I left off, but again, salaki for that. I just wanted to get through this and give y'all some of the milk that is in these prophecies, because that was a lot of meat. There was a whole lot of meat in there, and it's still a lot of meat on that bone. Like Mama would say, it's a lot of meat left on that bone that y'all still got to go through and dissect yourselves, right? Just through studying, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But with that being said, man, I want to thank y'all and say the water to Israel, the water Yahweh, the water Yahushua, the water to the brother Yaniv, and Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Of course, those who keep the lunar Sabbath as well, just a Shalom to y'all too as well. Israel, if y'all have anything, throw it in the chat before we end this live, man. Yaniv, you got anything else out?
Nah, that's about it, everyone. I appreciate you for having me. Great lesson, and I enjoyed it.
All right, Khan, all praise, man. I'm still gonna find that precept, man. I might just pop back up on live, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm still thinking about that.
I feel you. I be like that too. My mind be wondering.
It was there. I totally forgot what precept I was trying to pull in Ephesians. I totally just straight up forgot.
That's right, Cap. Cap said we can't leave without the Daniel 7 and 18.
Con. Bring that out.
You're right.
Man, we're gonna get that Ephesians. Man, let me find that Ephesians, man, while you getting that, man. If you get
it in chapter 6?
I want to say it was chapter 4. I definitely think it was in chapter 4.
Okay.
And I just can't remember what it said, because I could easily just Google it, but I can't remember what I was even pulling it for.
Okay.
I had missed the whole point, man. But if you got that Daniel 7 and 18, man, go ahead and bring that out, man, and we can go and end this thing.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom
Mm-hmm.
and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Forever, forever, ever, forever, ever.
Khan.
Hey, with that, man, I'm gonna say shalom, man.
Shalom, Yasharala.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, 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 black music, black music, black music, black music.